Hello everyone, welcome to one more episode of Talking Times. I'm very excited because today's gonna be one of the crazy ones, I have an announcement to make. Today is going to be my last episode of April, okay? So I hope to see you next week. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, if you haven't liked We Have Beef, do it. I'm here with Bruno Leonel and it's gonna be amazing right after our podcast intro. Welcome, Bruno. Nice to have you here, man. Man, before we start, please introduce yourself to our listeners.
Hi guys, I'm Bruno Leonel. I'm a software developer for 13 years now. And I'm one of the Maick students, one of the craziest ones.
Yes!
So let's drive into madness.
Yeah, man. There are many reasons I'm very happy you are here, but one of them because you are one of the easiest people that I had in my classes. Easiest in terms of it's very easy to talk to you, and that's nice.
That's good.
It's really nice. The second, for you to be originally from the school that I directly work, And the third, you like the crazy topics too, and you probably feel like that. It's hard sometimes to find someone that likes to talk about this stuff on the regular basis.
Yeah.
When you find like a duo, like, oh, okay, come here, you work weird too. I like you.
come together.
Yeah. So okay, so a senior software engineer, right?
Right.
Long path. How did you end up doing that, man?
When I was a teenager, I had to decide how we would do for a living. Like everyone in Brazil.
Teacher or something else?
Just like that. Taekwondo teacher, like physical education or IT.
Mm-hmm.
IT was my second option, wasn't not my primary option, but it offered me much more questioning and much more affordability than the physical education. So I just fought that FATEC there in my hometown, the neighbor town, my wife's town. It was good for me for learning IT, so I just make my graduation there. I met my wife there.
Ah, nice. She's here in the studio too. Yeah. So you mentioned that when you started doing it was like your second option, but it eventually became the first. And it's something that one of the things that we're gonna cover today is related to the existentialism. When what we are doing here, why we are here, blah blah blah. But finding something that you have a passion, and when you are there at work, of course, it's work. So imagine you have the everyday stresses and the obligations. But are there moments where you don't see the time passing?
Maybe all the time.
Really?
Every day. It's like I start to work, I have several problems to solve, and then it's 6 p.m. So it's
Are the problems solved by then?
Sometimes yes, sometimes not, but it's life.
Okay.
Just like that.
All the IT guys now say, yeah, I can relate to that.
Yeah, and sometimes you sleep, and in the other day you came up with a solution.
Ah, okay.
So it's just like that. It's questioning, trying to solve a problem, and getting an error and try to solve again.
Yeah, it's a lot like being a philosopher.
Yeah.
The difference is that normally we never find the total answer.
Yeah. And even in the field, we don't find the final answer because it's an incremental process. So you have to get baby steps, everything. You will not find the perfect fit for a solution in your first try. So you have to try again and to find a better solution for the first problem. Then will appear another problem and you solve again.
Nice.
So it's like everything's an incremental process.
We have a lot of IT students in times. Before we go to the crazy stuff, just to keep it professional, what recommendation would you give, man, to the guys that are starting in the field to, I don't know, don't get crazy or overly stressed? And, you know, because it's something that I hear a lot. Oh, I don't sleep a lot. I drink 2 liters of coffee every day, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, I passed through the same problems. I had an anxiety episode on the pandemics, but it's normal. It's not a problem at all. If you have too much problem, try to get help. Is the first thing to do. But the problems are normal. You have a lot of them in life to solve. So it's the same with the profession. It's like we will never find like we said before, we will never find the perfect answer.
Yeah. The why. So, why is this? Why is that?
Yeah, and sometimes you get anxious to solve the problem. You have the deadline, but you have to be like head first. You have to be like on the present moment. I have my guitar outside my desk. Sometimes I just get my guitar to enjoy 5 minutes of playing some song.
That's very healthy, actually.
Yeah, and then I come back to the work, because sometimes you get stuck for a dumb thing, like a silly thing, a problem that you already solved, but it takes a long time, like hours maybe. And whenever you try to make something else than the solving this problem you are stuck, you start to realize something that you forgot.
This is very nice, because literally I've talked about this with other teachers. Sometimes when we deal with people, you have a part of your brain that is the frontal cortex that inhibits some action. Yeah. So, for example, you want to burp. If you are in a social situation, you will not go there or fart or, you know, poke your nose, this type of stuff. So if somebody does that close to you, maybe their frontal cortex is not fully developed or not with the strong connections there. But anyways, when you are doing problem solving, it's like a workout of your brain, literally. You are using. But then you get your guitar, you do some you know, you have a Les Paul.
Yeah, I have a Les Paul, and I have a chord KX 500 too.
Nice.
That's for metal. Really heavy stuff.
Nice.
But I have the Les Paul because I like the classics too.
Zach Wild is my favorite.
Yeah, me too. You know? The same.
So you do that, you automatically break the cycle of being in the future, hypotheticals, or in the past, and you are paying attention what you're doing. With me, normally some meditation, or I have a punch bag where I live that sometimes I go there, or throw X's, this type of thing. Or just pet the dog or the cat. Yeah. You know, do something like this, you relax. All right, Noah already asked an interesting question. Shout out to you, Noah. Tell us a little bit more about some of your action figures, and I always wanted to ask about your relationship with animes. Okay, I will link with animes and the other stuff about cartoons and stuff you watched as a kid. What was the first animes you watched, man, that stuck with you?
Animes were more like in teenagehood.
Okay.
Like you start to watch. I watched Dragon Ball on the Saturdays, but it was not like I know that is an anime.
We watch Japanese cartoon.
I know that it's Japanese because I'm seeing some strange letters there, but it's not like I knew what is anime, and I were intentionally watching. I'm watching an anime.
I'm an otaku guy.
Nothing like that. It was much more like on the teenagehood, and Dragon Ball, of course, because it was like a fever here in Brazil.
Yeah,
and we even played. Tried to play Super Saiyan and then tried to fight. It was like
it's a canon event Let's see which one hits you, Maurice. It's a canon event in the life. I think I know which one was. Oh, first, you try to use the Force.
Of course.
You try to use the Force. You try to discover which is your superpower if you are an X-Man.
Yeah.
Then it's like, damn, I haven't awakened anything. Then you try to transform in Super Saiyan. You might have a stroke or shit your pants, but you know, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It didn't work.
But there's still hope. Maybe we are wizards. You know, it could take more time. Could be something to be like a Gandalf or something like
Yeah,
that.
maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, a guy can hope, right?
You're right.
Yeah. All right. What about the action figures? What's the relation with them?
The action figures, I always liked pop culture symbols and icons. And when I discovered the word of action figures, it was like, oh my god, this exists. There's something like that. And I always buy some figures as long as I have enough money to buy it. But there are promotions. There are discounts, and then I buy.
Shopee and AliExpress.
No,
Sometimes I find
I
some.
never bought one on Shopee or. But there are Iron Studios discounts, like Friday. Sometimes there are some action figures that cost 1,500, and then you buy for 600.
I got very happy. My Luffy is limited edition because it's probably handmade. So you cannot have another, you know. And I paid, I got $30. Then I saw the same one for 600 at the mall. And I said, I felt like Julius, you know, from Everybody Hates Christmas. Amazing. All right. So, Bruno, this is something that we talked a little bit before. People sometimes imagine like being into heroes or animes or this, it's just a phase, it's like a kid's thing. But we talked about this in a class again, it's much stronger and older than that.
Yeah.
Like if you go back to the Greeks, to Homero, you have the gods. So they are representations of like
The best that humanity has to offer.
yeah, or the worst in the case of some villains, or sometimes you have this gray area that, like you said, I know the guy's a villain, he's unethical, but he kind of has a point in some aspect, and the nice built villains are like that.
Magneto.
Yeah, Magneto can be
Even
one.
Thanos.
Yeah.
Marvel did something great with Thanos, because on the comics he's like just I want to please death.
Exactly. Yeah, he's like a cattle.
Yeah, just a cat.
Yeah.
And on the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they gave a good
Had a
reason
death.
for it.
Yeah.
So it's too much different, but yet so good that I prefer the cinematic version.
Yeah, I like to. It was deeper too, and the feeling he had in the other movie before Thor chop his head off, like mission accomplished, but you can see that he's not fulfilled. He's like just tired. It's like, well, it wasn't what I expect to be. It's something that we actually feel. Sometimes you want something so hard. It's like, oh, I want this promotion. I want that person. I want this or that. After you get it, and then
It's not that. Yeah.
and then we go to Schopenhauer. You know, the anxiety of wanting and the boredom of having. You know, this kind of pendulum thing is. What were the first questions, man? That made you feel uncomfortable as a kid or as a teenager?
First, the origin of conscience.
Oh man, that's a tough one.
Yeah, it's hard because whenever you try to get an answer, you don't find you just more questioning.
Yeah.
Like
The first answers you got, you mentioned it was when you were kids going to church.
I was raised on the church. I went in the church with my grand aunt that passed away last year. So it was for me. It was like, okay, I have a lot of answers here, but they have the dogma, they have the standards, they have this is the right answers for these questions.
Yeah, exactly.
If you ask,
come in a certain frame, right?
yeah, if you ask something different, we don't have how to offer you this.
Man, I cannot say this because we are live, but once I made a very uncomfortable question related to sex to the pastor of my church.
Oh my!
Because I was a very curious person. Then I said, if we do in this way, is it wrong? That's all that I can share. Your mind will take you whatever. And then he said, Maick, see, God made this part of the body for this part of the body for that. You know, but I was genuinely curious. I was not testing or anything like that.
But for them, it's some kind of uncomfortable situation because they don't have how to. They are trying to make you follow that dogma, so they don't have how to offer you an answer that does not fit.
This is something that in many, you mentioned Catholic churches, they give you some answers that are more fulfilled because of the whole tradition that you had a lot of philosophers that they study ontology, epistemology, like you have St. Thomas Aquinas, Saint Anselm, Saint Augustine, like they can explain the whole cosmology based on something.
Yeah.
And then if you question that, you might have some problems or read a lot of big books, you know. But were you in any moment of your life, man, bothered because you were curious about the stuff? Like, you shouldn't ask those questions, shouldn't do that. And,
almost the entire time because people are not like, especially in my hometown, in my family, they are trying just to survive. They were not kind of questioning anything. They are just trying to survive, to pay the bill. Like, oh, man, you have to work. Go
just
there.
grinding.
Don't question too much. This is like this because it is. Simple like that.
But that's genuinely good answer for some things. It's just whatever it is.
Yeah.
But we need to go around, and then, okay, maybe it's just what it is.
We complicate it a lot.
Yeah. But okay, let's not dodge the question. Let's start with the one you post here. And if you have theories in the chat, or you can send to us. Let's try, imagine we are in a philosophy class now, okay? Like we used to do. So, the first question you asked already is a tough one. What's the origin of conscience? Okay, so do you remember when we talked about the two ways to analyze something?
Yeah.
Okay, so what were they?
They were the idealistic approach and the physicalist approach.
Exactly. So being the idealistic would be something like this, guys. Imagine that conscience is whatever make reality be what it is. So one thing that we have to do philosophy in an honest way, define the terms in a clear way. What do you mean origin? Why do you mean reality? Because if you just use the terms vaguely, Bruno will be talking bananas, I will be talking watermelons, and then we never reach any point. So in this idealistic approach, imagine that whatever exists is made of consciousness. Okay, that doesn't help a lot, right? But let's imagine this is the case. In case you think this is old stuff, I posted a lot of references on the chat of scientists that are investigating this right now. 2024, doing conference, doing experiments in laboratories. Some of the guys are there, like Donald Hoffman and Anil Seth. So you can imagine this is the case. All right, whatever exists is made of consciousness. What's the next question if this is the case? That's exactly a philosopher's face. Like,
okay, it's made of conscience.
Yeah.
What is a conscience?
Okay, another amazing question. Or I will increment. Can consciousness be any type of illusion, for example? Then let me give you another reference before I forget. Great Slipknot song. That is Sam Harris. Okay. conscious would be the very capacity of doing any type of interpretation. It's basically like this. The lights are on. So if you don't have consciousness, you don't have any question, any analysis, you have nothing. Okay. Then if this is consciousness, this is whatever exists, then after that we can ask maybe, is your conscious and mine something separated, something linked in any way? Have you ever thought about that or any perception about that? You mentioned cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk.
What happens with cyberpunk about that?
In cyberpunk, you have a device, a specific device that that butchers your mind, your construct of mind, your consciousness, transforms it into digital information.
Oh, wait. That's an amazing idea.
It's a good idea, but it's terrifying.
Yeah, exactly. Good. When I say good, I mean fascinating.
Yeah, but once you transform your consciousness in data, in digital data, you are not yourself anymore.
No, it's there.
Yeah, because it's like any digital information. You copy and then you erase it from the origin.
It's like sharing a nude, guys. Once it's on the internet, you are marked forever.
Yeah.
You can delete it. The cloud is just a big database of,
Of shame, basically.
Yeah.
And
now everybody's like, whoa, man.
And there's the dilemma of being replaced by a conscious that is implanted in you, because this device not only transfers the data, the digital data, but makes modifications on your DNA. So it adapts the host body to the new consciousness.
So it's like this. Let's see if I understood. Explain to me like I'm 5 years old. So imagine you have this device, it's like it does a Control-C, Control-V in my consciousness. Something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, but then it will create another host that could be like a cyborg, or is it it's a biological body?
Yeah, the plan on the game, the plan of the creators of this device is to create a specific host with compatibility with your genes.
Okay.
Like there's a bad guy there that uses his son as his host at the end.
The son is like a rat lab,
Yeah, don't care about my son. Let get his body for me. No problem.
Okay.
Just another Tuesday on my life.
Then.
And there are another dilemma, like someone that was implanted with this device, but against his will.
Oh.
And there's the main character's dilemma, because the copy was changing his body to accommodate this host, the new consciousness. And in the end, you have to choose. Like, you will give your body to the conscious that was implanted on you, or you will die in 6 months. It's like you have 6 months living like yourself, as yourself, or giving your body for someone else.
Yeah, because that's the whole thing. A great book about this and this consciousness dilemma is the Neil Seth one. The name of the book is Being New. And then we go to another crazy theory that is actually a current one that is being debated in the academia and other places, that is basically this. If, imagine like, maybe even in the physicalistic approach, okay, what's the difference? It would be reality is made of physical stuff. Consciousness is also physical. It's not like magic or spiritual or a soul, something like that. In this approach, they use a unit they call phi. Phi would be integrated information, that this is consciousness for them. I just had a crazy deja vu right now. It was very interesting. That's why I've So imagine like these humans that are highly conscious beings, we would have a big number, big value of phi, of concentrated information. A mosquito has a low phi, but not low phi like the calm music, but small amounts of integrated information. But here's the crazy thing about panpsychism. It's the name of the theory. Conscience would be part of everything that exists. Like even this mug will have a little conscience. Doesn't mean that the mug is like that. Oh my God, he hasn't brushed his teeth. He's gonna drink me now. It's nothing like that. But it's not self-aware, but it has a little consciousness.
It has some accents.
Yeah, and he mentions that, and then later on the book, he mentions something like this, that whatever makes us be whatever we are, it's a symbol that our brain creates that will work as a link to our memories. So for example, using your example of the game, if in 6 months I will die, this conscience will cease to exist, to be replaced by another one, is literally whatever made me be what I am would stop existing, because it would be just a symbol connecting a group of memories. When I replace by another consciousness, it's like a new person.
Yeah.
So it's a dilemma, yes, but in practical terms, it's not gonna make a difference because I disappear in both aspects.
Yeah, and there's another book in this case that is called The Old Man's War, that has a different approach, because there's a transference, a literally transference. You get the conscious and transports to another body that's that is like engineered for you.
Okay.
So it's totally different thinking about, but it's practically impossible.
Don't say something like this, because somewhere in the world there might be a crazy kind challenge accepted.
Chinese
yeah, something like that. Okay, so if this is the case, Bruno, what if we are just construct of our brains? Let's say mind don't exist. Whatever happens is like these brain waves. Then another question that some people do is, does it make us feel less important or sad or nihilistic? For example, there is no Bruno, no Maick. There is a symbol that is just a tool to keep my homeostasis, perfect. Yeah, and because we are a living organism, and answering your difficult, tough, annoying question, the origin of conscience would be an evolutionary tool to enhance the homeostasis.
Yeah.
It sounds very unsatisfactory. I don't know why. Because maybe it's what what our brains are supposed to do, But how do you feel if this is the case?
I don't have a really a big problem with that, because that's where the religion comes out. To fit the gap on what science doesn't bring me the answer to. It was like the loop, right? We start with religion, science, and even though I don't have any proof that God exists or there is something else than the physical world, and I hope I made this.
I want to believe.
Yeah, I want to believe, because there's a concept of the gambling that if you I forgot the philosopher that brought this concept, but if you don't believe at all and it exists, you are already condemned. And if you believe,
pragmatic
yeah, and if you believe and it exists, okay.
Yeah, and if you believe and it doesn't, you're not harmed.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's a practical way to live, Nice. So you have to go all around, yeah. So if you ever had these questions, what are the side effects? Sometimes it takes us a while to find purpose again, because we want to feel we are important and the whole universe is finely tuned to have us and all of that, you know. But then you say, oh my God, so I'm just part of it, not important or whatever. But my recommendation is just keep going, and eventually the taste of your favorite ice cream will not change because you know that. It's still gonna feel awesome. The feeling of playing your guitar and enjoying is still awesome. Oh, but I'm just an animal doing something. Whatever. In practical terms, is the feelings, the taste, it doesn't change.
Yeah.
So the only difference is sometimes we're gonna stop and be like this and like,
wow.
you know, wondering, you know. Well, let's take a look at the chat, because a lot of people are sending questions here. Yeah. Let me grab a whiskey, enjoy this trip, and Ernesto, shout out to you. Okay, have you, and Ernesto asked, have you guys watched X-Men 97? Oh, yeah, I think it's Teacher Neto, right? Is it good?
Yeah, it's really good. And I didn't give too much spoilers for Mike because he didn't watch it yet. But it is good. It has it is a good continuation of the first season on the 90s, and it brings a lot of things from the comics, from the concepts of the comics, even though they adapt a little, but it's a good adaptation.
Nice. You said that it's good. Mauricio told me it's good. Another friend said, oh, you have to watch that. Okay.
I watch it, and sometimes my wife is working on her classes, and it starts to ta 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 ta. Or sometimes it's Bastion. Spoiler. They don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Who Bastion is.
Shout out to you, ladies. Ernest said Doctor Strange could have won the battle against Thanos. Oh, that's a good one. It's just the power of whoever writes the story. You know.
Yeah.
You know, the power of the writer, because open a portal, chop his arm off or his head. That's it.
Yeah, it depends. Comics depends on too much on the writers, because when they feel that they need to bring something new, it's the worst thing for us, because they retcon everything, and everything that you read before, it doesn't work anymore.
It's like that scene from Austin Powers. Do you know Austin Powers? There is a scene that Dr. Evil. I'm gonna put him in a tank, and this tank is full of sharks. Doctor, we couldn't have sharks here, but we have these piranhas. Okay, they work just fine. And then his son, why just to get a gun and pop him on the head? Shh. Why do all of this? Just bang, bang, and finish. No, that's not enough. And then, you just go there. There is a theory using Ant-Man.
Yeah, of course.
Involving Thanos' anatomy.
Yeah.
You know, this would certainly enter in the annals of history of comic books, you know, of a great way to kill a villain. If you got this reference, you know. Anyways, what else we have here? Good night, Jair. Okay, Marcel has a nice question here. You go first. So, in your opinion, what's the hardest truth of life?
Oh my God!
Before you answer, what is the truth? We had this in one of the philosophy class. The truth is just whatever happened that could be interpreted. So you have your truth, I have my truth. In philosophy exists one truth, a billion possible explanations, maybe all of that are wrong, but the fact is only one. So
yeah, you don't come to a true conclusion with two false premises, or a true premise and a false premise.
Yeah. What's the hardest one for you?
Then I will die. It's simple like that. It starts, your life starts, you don't see it coming. When you realize that you are a living being, you're already maybe 8 or 9, and then you live with a countdown on your head.
Yes.
So it's really hard to address that.
And we lose a lot of time with stupid shit. Sometimes you are so angry with something, then you stop to think like, well, was that actually that important? Oh my God, what if I die today? I spent that amount of time, throwing or fighting or, thinking about that event. That is not gonna make any difference. It's just, it's not that it's easy, but we do this a lot. For me, maybe this is wrong, okay, but is the conclusion that I had so far about everything. Then I recently found some scientists doing this type of research. Her name is there, I think, is Anna. I don't know if it's Aya or Aija, because she's, I think, German, and the J could be like an I. But it's about the bouncing universe. I got this idea from a philosopher called Parmenides. He says that everything is one. Is the first philosopher who brought the idea of ontology, the study of being, whatever makes something be what it is. And epistemology, the study of knowledge. So how do I know that what I think I know is true? And here goes the thing, okay? You tell me if it makes sense to you. Bruno, what is nothing?
For me, it's new. It's like something that doesn't exist.
Exactly. Nothing doesn't exist. What exists is something. It sounds very stupid, but if you stop to think, it changes everything. I see this mug right here in front of me. Then I imagine a version of the universe where these mugs, or where mugs never existed and will never exist. That doesn't prove that this universe exists. It's just an exercise based on something that I have interacted. So the same goes with nothing. The concept of nothing is impossible. Try to imagine nothing. You imagine all black, all white. You imagine a vacuum. You imagine something. So if nothing doesn't exist, please guys, follow this with me, okay? It's really important. Don't sleep. If nothing doesn't exist, whatever exists can't have come from nothing, because there's nothing. Nothing doesn't exist. All right, so we have one information here. So whatever exists must have or started to exist from something, or maybe, that's the conclusion I have so far, it has always existed. So everything would be eternal. If everything is eternal, there was never a sequence of events, because to have a sequence, I would need to have one event. After some time, there's some problem with the concept of time as well. A second event. But where has this second event came from? My head is already burning. So if everything is eternal simultaneously, then changing would be actually impossible. But I see that I'm getting older, that I'm, I don't know, losing hair or getting fatter, or I don't know, my body's changing, making strange sounds sometimes. So I have the idea that something is moving. Maybe whatever happens is the universe, and this is the theory, bouncing universe. The Big Bang is not the beginning, it's just everything that existed in a contraction, and then it expands like a lung breathing. So if this is the case, and now I can answer you, Marcel, that's the hardest truth for me, if this is truth. If this is the case, maybe we live the very same life every time in an endless cycle. So whoever has a terrible life will always live this terrible life. Whoever lives an amazing life will always live that. And then there's no free will, because we will be just a micro part of the macro, trying to understand it, you know? And now I am, but what do you think about this? Does it make a shred of sense to you?
It makes and remind me of a character from X-Men that I cannot talk about.
Okay, go.
But in the comics, not
Okay.
on X-Men 97, that we passed the entire chronology of X-Men thinking that she was a human and not a mutant. But her powers are to reset the reality.
Damn.
Like every time she dies, she passes away, she starts a new universe. So everything.
Does
that
she
you
remember everything?
Yeah.
Fuck, that's terrible.
And she make like I
That's an
don't know.
amazing character. Amazing. I mean the character, not that.
Yeah, the intention.
No, the character. Because imagine the complexity. Every loved one you would remember.
Yeah,
and
and she started like understand her power, and to hate the mutant. Like the mutants, she thought that the mutants are the blame of the all her suffering.
Is her name Moira?
Fuck.
Somebody said in the chat here.
Yeah, it's Moira McTarget.
Moira is a nice name because it reminds me of the Greek, the three norms.
Yeah.
I guess it reminds me of that. Man, that's an amazing character in terms of complexity. And then I need to think more about that because I was having actually a conversation with Stefano. But and he told Maick, maybe it's not always the same because energy would be like that. Maybe in the next bouncing, it goes, instead of going here, it goes there. And then maybe in this version of the universe, I am a woman, I am a cat, I don't even exist because whatever combination. But then I said, man, I have a problem with that because to go to another direction, something would have to be different. Maybe you can mention quantum physics. Oh, but you can find the particle and then you try to predict it's going to be something else. Because it's difficult for us to know that doesn't mean that it teleport.
Yeah.
It's like...
It's hard.
Yeah. So, and then I finally have found my peace with this theory. Because if it's the case, I thought, so I will do something awesome every time I can. Because if I'm gonna leave this the same way every time, I'm gonna have within my limits, an awesome life. And as long as the conscience continues,
How do you think that that maybe spiritism fits on the theory?
Because they got it right. If this is true, maybe whatever memory we have, or whatever, some people like the Oracle in the Matrix. Oh my God, Matrix is so good. I will control the nerd in me now. Whatever person that is like an oracle or has the memories is maybe a fragment of the next cycle that remained there, or maybe everybody has this capacity, we just need to exercise. Could be something like this and we choose to ignore. I don't know, but it could be one explanation. Oh, I saw a ghost, maybe the ghost is like a memory that is there. I don't know. But yes, I thought a lot about the religions after I start thinking about that. Does it mean that God doesn't exist? Not necessarily. He could be part of the whole thing, But yeah, that's a tough one. Who else said something here? We are all just dust in the wind, and that's sad. Okay. What do you guys think about the concept of nature and nurture? Okay, I will try to go to the simulation conversation with you, but we have to talk a little about this because of the what is love.
Baby, don't hurt me.
Like, no more. No. Okay, nature and nurture. So if we are our genes or if we are the external stimulus. So what is your view about that, man?
50-50 maybe.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
We agree. You see?
It's like Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid has a lot of discussion on your genes. Like there are some characters there that has a genetic charge identical with another character because they are clones. And there are another one now on Metal Gear Solid 2 that's Raiden. He has this discussion more, how can I say? It's more important for him because he was raised as a child soldier.
Ah, okay.
And then his body was replaced with machinery. Like he's a cyborg.
Okay.
He's not entirely human. He's maybe
But
50.
his mind is partly human, like RoboCop in a way.
Yeah.
Okay.
And even though he has...
I like RoboCop. It's a nice movie.
Yeah. It's a
Even
great
the new one, the 2005.
No.
Okay.
Uh,
Dun, 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 dun. What a great song. Oh, that song's amazing.
and he was raised as a child soldier, and okay, nurturally speaking, like my social environment and my raising was like that. I am this, or I am what I was programmed. Like my body was replaced already. So I conserve my humanity. I am a human, or I am just a construct, like we said before.
Yeah. It's a nice. That's why these games are so fascinating, because they made us think about that. A lot of animes as well, like Full Metal Alchemist, for example, and I think a lot of people recommended me to read or watch Ghost in the Shell. True, But if you like this topic, look for the work of. There is a book called Social Biology: A New Synthesis from Edward O. Wilson that he will basically. It's not a spoiler, but your body is just the conductor of your genes, and then you have the work of Robert Sapolsky that is. There is no such thing that only social construct or only genes, because these two things can't be separated. The genes react to the external stimulus. So whatever thing you say, oh, that's a cultural thing. Okay, then the philosophy kicks in. Where this culture came from. So you have the collective manifestation of one impulse of many individuals for whatever evolutionary reason, if you consider the physicalist approach. So it's both, right? Okay, based on this, man, how do you deal with all the emotions that we have every day? Sometimes we love, sometimes we hate, sometimes we don't understand why we do the things we do, considering all of these crazy things we are talking about. Did you find any explanation for why we like the things we like, why we are the way we are, why we do this whole cycles of questionings and then to end up in the same place?
That's something that I never came up with an answer, because it was just like I said before. My family was trying to survive for a long time, so I didn't spend too much time questioning what I'm feeling, why I'm feeling this way, but I try to understand why the other people felt like this way and felt like this. Like my father, he had some conditions and he made the best of of his choices with these conditions. And then my dad already had these conditions to make it, and now I have a new set of conditions. So I can do different things. If I didn't have I just had the same, I'll did the same things like him.
Over and over. Man.
Yeah, but when you try to change, it's already a step forward.
Yeah, it is. And it's difficult. Change is something very uncomfortable at first. And sometimes it's involuntary. I don't know if it was like this for you, but a lot of the beliefs that I had, it took me more time to realize that he had changed it than to change the thing. Like, oh, actually, I don't believe in that anymore. Whoa, and then you have the whole epiphany thing, you know. All right, let's go there, man. The simulation thing. There is this guy, you know, Nick Bostrom. I think he's a scientist from Yale, and he has a very convincing hypothesis. You have the whole work online if you guys are interested. Do you know his work?
I heard on your classes.
Okay, so yeah. It's basically like this. There are three possibilities about being we are living in a simulation or not. The first one is we eventually will reach, you know, the full power to create a simulation that sounds and looks and feels so realistic that we will even lose touch with reality. But we would decide not to do it because it's unethical. Well, why would we do that? No. The second one is that we will never reach these, so we just think, but we will never do. The third, we will reach the thing and we will do it. If the third one is the case, then eventually we will create more simulations than actually people existing, because you have no limit. One person can create 100 simulations. If this is the case, there wouldn't be any limit and there wouldn't be a way to know that we are not living in it. So maybe right now, if the third case is the case, we might be as well living in it. And we wouldn't have how to know.
Yeah.
You know, if you think that's unsettling, have a good night of sleep tonight. You know, so it's like a version of the evil genie or the brain in the vat. Yeah. You know, Matrix has a little to do with that too, like creating. But I have a question for you guys in the chat, for you as well. If this is the case and we were living in a simulation, would you be like Cypher of Matrix? Like, I want to eat my steak, I don't care, I still live in the simulation because it feels nice, I don't want to know reality. Or you wouldn't like to know at all, be in ignorance about that. Or no, you would like to know and face reality. Which pill? I'm not talking about the manosphere, okay? Blue pill or red pill? No.
Yeah, I think I would get the I would like to know the reality, but I wouldn't change at all. Because, of course, that I wouldn't have power to change it.
Yeah.
But it would be good to know that the universe is my universe. Is built like that for a reason. Because it completes all the gaps that we have. But it's something amazing to think.
These little awkward silences, it used to happen a lot in the classes. You know? Remember, I said, "Okay, guys, one moment," and then like I don't know what to think now. So I have some news. Let me see if somebody answered in the. Now I asked about Donnie Darko. Yes, amazing movie. Mm-hmm. Have you watched this one?
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay. Mariani asked here about the Moira. Is she like Flash messing up with timelines? Or
no,
the resetting is just
even dangerous.
It's worse
because she controls the reality. So it's like everything's on her hands.
Damn, if she decides to reset, suicide and reset.
Yeah.
You like your life? Boom! And then
just like that. But all these lives, I can't remember how many lives she lived, but all that lives were just to kill the mutants, just to build a great plan.
She's like pink in the brain, like today's universe, in this version we're gonna kill all the mutants.
Because there's the mutants were living in a safe place on Krakoa. That's the living island, but Krakoa was part of her plan. it's to gather
To have all of
the
them in one
mutants.
place. Oh, then just drop a bomb there. And
Yeah,
Damn.
and it's getting bigger, even bigger. Her plan with the bigger villains on this phase. So it's
Which edition is this, or which story?
it started in 2021.
Okay.
It has 33 editions, 33 chapters.
What's the name of the saga or
It's,
the
I think that's the Orchis saga.
Orchid?
Orchis from orchids.
Okay,
Because
like the
it's
flower.
it's
orchid
the
flower, okay.
one. How can I describe it? It's a anti-mutant organization, and that took power over the world, and it's getting there's a plane above the orc, so it's
Damn.
like, and Mura now makes part of this plane, so it's getting complicated.
She would be the head of all of this because it would be her version of the universe.
She makes part of a conscience. Spoilers.
Okay.
She makes part of an AI, a really advanced AI, the god of AIs.
Okay. AI is another nice conversation. We are running out of time already. See, but we could at least talk a little about that. Well, no one said here that I would face reality just so I could understand why. We ask ourselves why things. There is a emoji exactly on the next word he wrote here. Things I think are made this way, but we don't have an answer. Well, we talked a bit before. The final answer, the ultimate answer of many things, and I think was your father said it right to you.
Yeah.
Sometimes, guys, we reach a point in questioning that you discover the first ontological characteristic of something. What is that first ontological characteristic? Is the very element that makes the thing be what it is and not something else. H2O, water, if it's H3, whatever element, it would be something else. So why? Because in this universe, couldn't be any other way. Maybe this is the answer you could have for many things. It's not a lazy answer. Why the universe bounces, if it's the case? Because it's the characteristic of it.
Yeah.
Why do we want homeostasis and to make copies of our genes? Maybe that's what living things do. Why conscience is like this feeling of being awake? Because that's what makes what it is.
Yeah.
So if you enjoyed this, I have some news to you. The guy, the neuroscientist Anil Seth, in his book, he will say exactly this, that yes, we live in a simulation because your brain doesn't render reality as it is, but as a functional version that you can interact. Donald Hoffman, another scientist with a different view, says the same thing. And then I ask, what do we do with this knowledge, man? What they're gonna do with all this knowledge if it's the case? Have a beer at the tavern?
Have a beer at the tavern and going to sleep at night. Just living my life.
Me too, man. Bruno, it was amazing to have you here, man. We could talk about many other stuff for hours, but final message to our viewers, man. The guys that are watching us here.
Guys, don't blame yourselves. Don't get too complicated. Sometimes, like we said, things are like they are. Just how it is. Don't complicate too much. We have this impulse to complicate too much, but that's natural. But try to be simple. Try to be. We are humble forms made of carbon.
A final message. Maybe everything that we said here is wrong, by the way, okay?
Yeah.
That's what good philosophy is. You have to assume this every time. Thank you so much, guys. Don't forget, next week, the episode is going to be again on Wednesdays. We are on Spotify, and subscribe, leave a message, put your question in here, share this with somebody else who likes this type of conversation. Hope to see you next week on our next episodes of Talking Times. Bye bye.